We are going to go ahead and start. You don't have to turn there. I'm just going to read it real quick. In the book of Psalms, chapter 133, verse 1. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 133, verse 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So I'm going to take it a little bit different way than he did. And I kind of want to talk about family. And I kind of want to start this off by saying I do hope that everybody in this room does have a really good family, or anyone who hears this, but I do know that a lot of people do not, and I'm very sorry for that. But family really is a wonderful thing, and I am talking about an earthly family in this exact moment. We have very large earthly families. We have moms, dads, brothers, sisters, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth cousins, grandparents, all those things. And I think we all know that when you get that many people together, people do not get along. I'm sure that you have greatly experienced that. There is unfortunately family members like brothers and sisters who fight over inheritance. They fight over money and land and material possessions. There's lots of drama. There's lots of gossip. There's lots of jealousy that completely tears families apart. I'm sure you've heard significantly worse than this, but you hear people say, oh, that's the cousin that's spoiled, or that cousin gets everything they want, or whatever. And I'm sure that's probably very tame compared to what some people have heard. And this is something I've actually experienced myself and actually seen family members, like brothers and sisters, blood close, literally stop talking for years because someone said one weird thing. I've even seen families split up because someone didn't bring a dish to the family reunion. I've physically seen families never come back because someone didn't do it, or because they did bring a dish and nobody ate it. It's kind of petty. But they'll literally stop talking for years. They won't see each other anymore. They grew up together, and then it's just over something just incredibly petty. And just to take it a step further, as Mr. Tom Griffith even talked about yesterday, Cain killed his brother Abel. And he is nowhere near the only one that's ever done that. You see it on the news every single day. And it doesn't seem this way, but I do hope by the end of this sermonette that there is some encouragement. This is not supposed to be a gloom and doom sermonette. Definitely don't want to be the one that does that. But I definitely hope there is an encouragement, maybe a direction of what it is we're supposed to do. I do typically associate the feast with lots of uplifting, positive messages. So that does bring me to the title of my sermonette today, which is The Family of God. I do love the Feast of Tabernacles with all my heart. I look forward to being here more than anything. It's definitely my favorite time of the year, where I'm sure it's a lot of other people's favorite time of the year. And of course we have lots of added perks with the weather and the beach and the fellowship and the people we don't get to see often. I do feel very relaxed when I'm here, very at ease. And I do hope everyone feels that way. And this is just kind of a little note that I tossed in here, that if you don't feel that way for whatever reason, please talk to somebody about it. I hope that's not the case for anybody. I'll even invite you to talk to me if you want to about it. I'll try to be helpful. But I do hope that you do enjoy the feast and you do look forward to it as much as I do. So even with my love for everyone in this room, whether I truly know you or not, I'm sure there's some that I probably haven't talked to or don't talk to enough, and I'm actually going to get into that in a minute. And I do believe that we all are trying to do our best. I have faith that we are trying to do our best. I think it would be rather foolish to think that we do not have gossip, that we do not have some form of jealousy. Maybe those are tough words, but I think there's definitely arguments or something that's between people. And I'm not just talking about this room, just the church in general. We're not perfect. I do hope I'm wrong. I hope everybody is at one and doesn't have anything going on. And I know that it's really hard to get along with people. Personalities clash. And I know, you don't share interests, you don't share hobbies. I'm not saying you got to be locked in the room with somebody, but there has to be a connection there. We need to, and I really am kind of talking about the more petty stuff. I know there's a lot of extreme stuff that happens in regular families and church families. Not getting into anything too tough there, but definitely the very petty stuff. If something's silly. You know it. If you have something against someone, if you're being silly about it. you got to be the one to let it go. You got to be the one to move on, because that other person may be thinking the same way and they never do it either. But we do need to enjoy the company of God's people, because we may not get to meet sometime. There might be someone in this room you might not get to see a year from now. So try to enjoy people, try to push things aside. It's not that big of a deal at the end of the day. If you want to turn to the book of Colossians, I'm just going to read one verse here as well, but this is the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 13. That is Colossians chapter 3, verse 13. Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. That is basically one of our entire principles, is to forgive. Because he didn't have to forgive us, and he did. I typically like to associate church, to a certain degree, with kind of what it's going to be like to be in the kingdom. Being with people of hopefully like mind, joy, fellowship, just enjoying each other's company, outside of a blood family. And, I know we experience a lot of things in our life with the drama and the gossip and all that, but we already know that that's not going to have a place in the kingdom of God. And if the church is symbolic for that, it doesn't have a place here. It can't thrive here. And I know there's toxic families all over. People can very easily say stuff that upsets you. But some people don't know what it's like to have a healthy relationship. They might not have meant it. They may come from very terrible families where, maybe they don't have the social skills. Maybe they don't know what love is. They don't know how to show it. So sometimes when people say things, they don't mean certain things. They're raised different. There's lots of depression in the world. There's a lot of loneliness. And there's tons of trust issues beyond belief, lots of stress. And a lot of people might be coming here to get away from that. So that's not something they need to be met at the door with. They're looking for a drama-free type of mentality, and we should show them a drama-free type mentality. Be a smiling face. I know it's hard to smile sometimes, but you need to realize what your face looks like sometimes when you don't smile. People might take that the wrong way. Try to act like you're happy to be here. I kind of wanted to mention something that I noticed before. Typically in passing, I'm sure you hear this at work every single day. People come in, they'll say, "Good morning, how are you?" And they continue to walk by as they say that. They're not really asking you that question. They don't really want to know. They're just kind of saying hello, and you'll say, "Good, how are you?" And they'll say, "Good," and you'll keep going. Sometime you may be met with someone about to deliver you multiple paragraphs of how they actually are. And I think we do need to be inviting to that. I think that is something that we need to do. Somebody might be looking for someone to talk to. They might be home alone, and they get here, and there's all the people, and they want someone to talk to. People want to feel like there's an interest. I think we need to act like a better family. We need to get to know each other. I haven't made my entire rounds yet, but I am trying this year to say hello to people that I don't typically say hello to. And so I think that's something that we need to try to do, to greet people, make them feel like this was worth coming to. So I would encourage everyone to do the same. It's very easy. I'm actually going to use, we'll just use Mr. Jason Eads for example. If Mr. Jason Eads comes up to me, or whoever what you consider your close friend at the feast is, and says, "Do you want to go out after this and have lunch?" You're probably immediately going to say yes, as long as you don't have other plans. So it's very easy for you to associate yourself with those people, friends you haven't seen since last year. But if that same person or anyone came up to you and instead of inviting you to a meal said, "I want to talk to somebody. I'd like to talk to you about something going on in my life." You were fully prepared to fellowship, spend money, go eat. Are you prepared to cry with someone? Just really get down, talk to somebody. The family of God should be. I want to go to the book of Luke, chapter 6. That is the book of Luke, chapter 6. We'll start in verse 32. Chapter 6, verse 32. For if you love them that love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those that love them. And if you do good to them which do good to you, what thanks have they? Even sinners do the same. And if you lend to those and expect repayment, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners and expect return. But love your enemies, do good to them. Enemies is a kind of a rough word for kind of what I'm talking about here, but love your enemies, do good to them, and lend, hoping for nothing again. And your reward will be great, and you shall be children of the Most High. For you are kind to the ungrateful and unthankful. I'm going to touch a little bit on here in closing what Mr. Tom Griffith said, which was, you don't know what blessings you have, and if you do have a good family, even if it's just a mom and a dad, not even all the aunts and the uncles and the cousins, you are beyond blessed. I hope you realize that. You have someone, a brother and a sister, parents to talk to. Some people don't have that. So they come here and they come here looking for that. And we have a responsibility and a chance to show every single person who walks in whatever door it is what a true biblical love is supposed to look like. One that's not defined by your blood or your relation, but it's defined by your character. The kind of character that truly makes us a family, and that is the family of God.